So yeah, let me just review really quick. So yeah, we already know this, and then we have descriptive and inferential statistics. And then we have the population and sample. So sample is just a subset of the data from population. And it's expensive to do statistics with the whole population. So we do the how do you call it? The Census Bureau. They did the you guys remember like a few years ago, they were collecting data from us. What's the term for that?
Talking about the census?
Yeah, Census Bureau, they collect data like from people every 10 years. Remember? And if you don't fill out a form, they will send someone to knock on your door, say, hey, could you fill out this form and stuff? You guys remember? So what's that?
Just the population.
Yeah, so it's a population census. Everybody needs to respond. So that's the population census. So imagine if we do that, and then they don't even ask a lot of questions. They ask like, what's your race? You know, like how many people in your household, how old are they? Like something like that. Okay. So, so that's why we need to use the sample, okay, to help us to make decisions. Like in marketing, you can see like, oh, whether or not this commercial is working by, you know, doing some sample and then see how people react to that. Will you want to buy the stuff after you watch this commercial? Okay. Finance. I don't know if you guys remember. Oh, you guys don't. Yeah, so in finance, like, you know, they have different statistics we can use. And operations, we use in operations, we use statistics to control the quality. In finance, we can use statistics to kind of estimate, you know, the stock market trend. And sometimes people will say, those are just like the very rough statistics. Sometimes say like, oh, in the past 30 years, January stock market usually go up. Okay, in January usually go up, and usually in September the stock market will go down. You know, so that's based on like past 30 years statistics. But actually, every year situation is different. So those are just like I say rough statistics because they just based on whatever happened in the past, but they don't look into what exactly the situation are. Okay, so we are in a different time now. So, but you know, we can still use that as the tool to help us to make decisions. So data is the value that assigned to some observations, like or measurement. Like if I ask how tall you are, we say, you know, 6 feet, 5 feet 8, 5 feet 9, 5 feet 10, something like that. Okay, so that's a measurement. How old you are, you know, you guys between 15 to 25, right? So those are some value we assign to our data, like to our observant. And so they are the foundation of statistics. We need data to do the calculations, to do the estimate. Okay. And you can, for the same stuff, you can record data on different formats. Okay, so that means that I think, should I'll give you examples when we go to the later, we have more examples. So we can classify, like I say, we would be talking about different categories. So for this one, based on the source of data, we have 2 categories. There are 2 types of data based on how we collect the data. So one is called primary data. So primary data means that it's directly collected by the person or organization that's going to use the data. Okay, primary data. That's the primary data. Secondary data is it's collected by somebody else, and they probably make it available, or they probably sell it to another people that want to use it, want to analyze the data. Okay. So there are two types of data. So the primary data is because it's the data you collect. Like if I collect what you get from your first test, I know, and I know I'm the one that made the test. So I know approximately you should get, between this point to this point. And I would know, oh, if you get the less than this point, that means you didn't study well, you didn't prepare well. Okay, and if you get this, if you pass this point, pass maybe let's say 190 out of 200, then I would know, oh, you really put in a lot of effort, and then you know what we are talking about in this class. So that's the data, and I can kind of adjust if more people is lower than my expectation, then I would probably need to adjust. Like I will use this data, analyze it, and then say maybe this semester I talk too fast. And maybe, more students didn't understand, because based on my understanding, they should be doing, from maybe 160 to 180, but most of the people are getting 120, 110. Okay, so that's that. But the disadvantage is because you need to collect it, and a lot of time you need to design how you collect the data. Okay, so it's very time consuming. And for the class, when I collect your grades, it's free. But when we try to collect data, I don't know if you guys ever get interviewed by people, like when you go to a grocery store or when you go somewhere, sometimes people say, hey, can I do some like survey with you? And usually they say, oh, if you participate, you have the chance to win this gift card or something. I don't know if you guys ever experienced that. So sometimes when we do survey, we need to give out some incentives for people to fill out the survey, to fill out the form when we collect data, and we need to pay. And then sometimes we need to pay people to help you to collect data, okay, from different places. So, so that's the disadvantage, is time and money. And to get data by yourself, there are several ways. First is direct observation. You can observe, like when I was younger, when I was in PhD program, I did a research in how waiting time affect customer satisfaction. Okay, so one way to like measure the waiting time is just stay there, observe. Like I will go to a bank to observe, how long this customer has to wait until the customer is served. And then after he was served, I will interview him like, hey, do you think you wait for very long? So I will record how long. Okay, so that's by direct observation, by how long they have to wait. And sometimes you can observe something different. Like there are a lot of educational experiments. They will put kids in different groups and they will observe how they react to each other based on their experiment. Okay, so we have direct observation and we have experiment. So experiments could be, have you guys, I don't know if you guys, I actually signed up when the COVID vaccine first came out. Before it was approved, they have free trial. Oh no, actually they will give you $2,000 if you try. So I actually signed up, I filled out the form, and I was selected. To do the free trial. But unfortunately, I live near Quakertown, in the middle of nowhere. So there's no clinic that work with this company to give me the free sample. So I didn't get the $2,000. But after I signed up, when I get selected, I kind of freaked out. I was like, oh, I'm going to try this vaccine that's not passed, it's not approved yet. I was a little bit worried, but I signed up to think that I might not get it. But I signed up because of the $2,000. It's so tempting. So I just signed up and I got selected. But fortunately, near where I live, there's no clinic to give me that shot. So I didn't do it. But experiments, they will give you, like, they will have the two different group of people. One will get real vaccine, one will not, and they will compare the result. So that's an experiment. And then survey, that's like I told you that you sometimes you get interview asking you, oh, how do you feel about this and that? So that's survey. Or like the class evaluation you guys get in the end of semester. That's a type of survey. They're asking you whether or not the professor is doing a good job. And then focus group is you pay a group of people to discuss different stuff on the product or service. Okay, so you ask them to try something, and then you invite them to sit together to talk about what they like about the service or the product and what they don't like about it. So that's the data you can collect. So based on what you hear now, you kind of have the sense that the primary data actually you need to pay, right? It takes time, and then usually you have to pay someone to do something, or you have to hire someone to help you to collect those data. So that's the disadvantage is it's kind of time consuming and it could be expensive. Secondary data, where other institute might collect some other data, and you can just get it from them. Is the advantage is it's convenient, but sometimes the data might not collect the variables you want. Okay, so you will have to kind of work around the data, try to use whatever you have to pin it to your research. So I think a good example I have. I don't remember what we wanted to do, but I was working on the research on small business, and then we had data on how much they spend in like IT and how much they use different stuff. But in the beginning, I didn't want to study that, but because that's the data we have, so I kind of twisted my research on how small business, how much they invest in IT will affect their profit, stuff like that. Okay, so the disadvantage is you cannot control how these data are gathered, and they might not fit what you really want to study. Okay, like my example. So I have to kind of twist it. So let me see how do I get the slide of work. So the next one is just quick question, determining the data type. Okay, so what kind of data is that? I have this here. So what is internet doesn't work. Right here. You guys see? So determine the data type. Okay. I collect my students' grade in the classroom. Is it primary data or secondary data? Use your phone, scan the QR code here. Let me see. I always like that. Let me see what's your answer. Oh, they don't show result right away. Hey, 8 people responded primary data. You were right. So 9. Okay. or 11. Did you guys just select when I show the most people like doing this? Okay. So this is the first question. The next one is the university needs to determine the inflation rate to determine the annual salary or the annual annual salary for the employees. So let's see. Yeah, here. So is it primary data or secondary data? If you want to collect inflation rate, we go ahead collect it ourselves, or do we get the information somewhere else? 11. 20. Come on, 12. 10. Okay, so let's show the result. What kind of data is this? Secondary, I don't know how, 1 or 2. 2 people picked primary data. So that's secondary data. We could also collect the data on our own, but usually we don't because they usually announce the CPI, okay, the price index, consumer price index every month. So the information is there, okay, it's public information, and we have who picked the primary data? Yeah, so so that's that. Okay. So you guys, I hope you guys probably know like what exactly is primary data, what is secondary data. Okay. So another categorization is the characteristic of the data. So we have the quantitative data and we have the qualitative data. Okay. So, but we need to use, in theory, the qualitative data is like quality. So usually something like someone's quality, like if I say like you are a freshman, you are a sophomore, you are junior, you're a senior. It's like something that's attached to you, okay, describe you, but no number. It's not a number. But in order to do statistics, we will assign number. We say freshman will give them 1, and then sophomore give them 2, junior 3, and senior 4. So when we say, oh, we try to learn, you know, what's like the average academic status in this class, we can kind of calculate it, and we will see like how many people is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have the number. And quantitative is usually, you know, the numbers. Okay, so in terms of the quantitative data, usually it has numbers. It's they use numerical values to describe something. Usually you can measure it or count it. Okay, so like how long does this customer wait to get service? How many minutes? How many seconds? Okay, so you can actually measure it or, you know, count it. And qualitative data is a descriptive term to describe or measure or classify the stuff of your interest, like you want to study. Okay, like male, female, sophomore, junior. Okay, and you can put a number, assign a number to male or female, so that when you are looking at the statistics number, you know, oh, 1 is, let's say 1 I use for female and male is 2. So if the average is like 1.9, that means probably more females in this data, right? But if the average is 1.5, it means we have half female, half male. Yeah. Okay. So that's we can assign a number to this kind of data, but the original form of this data is usually a descriptive term. So, and we can also group the data into 4 different categories by how they are measured. Okay, so the nominal data is like when we like the size of the clothes. Okay, it's small, medium, large, extra large. Okay, so it's just a label for small, medium, large. Okay, but actually for this one, it's not. This is not a good example. The female, male is a better example. Okay, because for small, medium, large, it actually have an order. Large is bigger than small, a medium, and medium bigger than small, right? So that's actually another one. But the nominal data is like a label that represents someone, and there's no relationship in the data. So the ordinal data is in rank order. Okay, so like I say, when we have freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, that's the ordinal data. And then we have interval data. That you actually can calculate, like you have, it comes with numbers like what year you were born, okay? How old are you? Okay. What's the distance between this? But the interval data is they don't have a real 0 point. So that means that if you are, let's say 15 years old and I'm 30, it doesn't mean you cannot say, oh, I'm twice older than you, because you don't really compare that. Okay. You cannot compare that. Or like, what's the other one? Like Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit, like if you say, oh, today's degree, the temperature is 40 degrees Fahrenheit. And then when we are at 20 degrees Fahrenheit, you cannot say, oh, 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Like today is, how should I put it? The 40 degrees Fahrenheit is twice hotter than the 20 degrees Fahrenheit. You cannot compare that like that, okay? Because they don't have the 0 point, and then they don't have a true ratio. Like the 40 degree doesn't necessarily mean it's twice as 20 degrees, okay? In temperature wise. So, but the ratio data is they actually have the meaningful difference, and they have the real 0 points. Like the gas price, it was $1 per gallon, now it's $2 per gallon. This we can say is twice as expensive as, the $2 is twice as expensive as the $1. Okay, and we can calculate, like we say the inflation. We look at different price and then see how much the price go up. So we can calculate it by percentage. So if inflation is 6%, that means the price go up for 6%. Okay, so that's something we can calculate, we can compare, and we can use the ratio to look at the data. And so those are the 4 different type of data, how they can be measured, how they are measured. So to kind of summarize it, we have qualitative data. Okay, so qualitative data, like I say, they could be numerical, like for example, like the size of your t-shirt, what's the size? A 10, 8, 12, 14, okay? Or small, large. So the small, large, medium, that's the nominal. Well, both are actually ordinal, but for the terms, it's nominal. And then when you can compare, what is bigger or what is older or what is, larger, then that's ordinal. So we have the non-numerical or non-numerical ordinal, that's the small, medium, large. But we have the numerical will be 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, so that's numerical. So it has numbers. And then the nominal will be female, male. And when we apply numbers, it will be, either 0, 1, 1 or 2, whatever number you assign. But for quantitative data, usually they are all numerical, and we'll have interval, and we'll have ratio. Okay, so any questions so far? So let's see, what kind of data is your IQ? Let me pull out the okay, what kind of data is IQ? What is you know what IQ is, right? Okay. This one is difficult. But is IQ a qualitative or quantitative data? Is it numerical? Numerical. So is it qualitative or quantitative? Quantitative, okay. So we know quantitative only have interval or ratio. So now you just need to decide whether or not they have a true 0 point, whether or not the IQ 180 means he's twice smart as IQ 90. Is IQ 100 twice smart as IQ 50? Do we have answer 9? Only 9? Come on. More. Hey, nobody knows what you answer. Okay, let's see. Just if I see something here, I will be angry. Okay, don't pick nominal or ordinal because we already say it's quantitative. So it's either interval or ratio. You got 50% chance to get it right or wrong. Okay, we have 12. We have a few more. $13. Come on. 3 more. Only 13. Oh, good. Okay, I'll stop here. Show results. Okay, we have 57 interval. Who want to defend for interval? Anybody? Okay, why? Okay, so he said because IQ 100 is not twice smart as 50. Who picked the ratio? Want to defend the ratio? Buddy? Nobody? The ratio? Who say ratio? No? So it's like, have you guys watched Forrest Gump? What's his IQ?
Negative.
No, there's no negative. So his IQ is like 40 something. Okay, so IQ people don't really have zero IQ. So there's no real 0 point. And 100 versus 50 is like Forrest Gump. Okay, 50. And 100 is like maybe us. Okay, so it's really 100 twice smart as 50? No. So IQ is interval. IQ is the tricky one. Okay, IQ is interval. But like the weight is ratio. Okay, the weight is ratio because weight has 0 pound, 0, whatever weight you use. So any questions? So that's that. Oh, so here. So IQ, okay. How about the price for vegetables? Oh, who said that? Okay, yes, ratio. Yeah, that's ratio because have 0%. The later grade you get in statistics A, B, C, D, E. Ordinal. Yes, it has ranked, right? So it's ordinal, but it's non-numerical. Okay, so it's but if I give you like the score you get from your test, like 100%, 90%, what is that? That's ratio. That's actually ratio because you get 0%, right? 0 and then 100%. So that's actually ratio.
So anytime there's a 0 point, it's always ratio.
Is it a meaningful zero? Like 0 degree Fahrenheit? Is it really 0? Yeah. So sometimes it's tricky. Yeah. Some stuff has 0, but it doesn't mean it's meaningful. It's like nothing, 0. Yeah. So, we have sometimes we need to think of the time effect. Okay. So we have the time series data. Like when we have GDP from 2000, 2001, 2003, 2022. Okay. So, and then sometimes we will have the cross-sectional data that we will have like example, unemployment rate from different states, okay, or different countries. So those are some special effects, but you guys don't need to worry about it because we are not going to do the time series data for this class. But sometimes we do need to make some kind of adjustment, or we are dealing with the time effect, time series data. So like we said, we have descriptive statistic. We descriptive statistic describe the characteristic of the data. So usually it's a summary, and you can summarize and you can kind of show the general information of the data. Inferential is like we are making claim, we are making some assumptions or some theories to about the population based on a sample, like the COVID vaccine example I gave you guys. Okay, so this one. So people under the age of 25 are more likely to go to party than people over 25. Is it inferential or descriptive? Is it describe a characteristic, or it's trying to make a claim based on some sample to the population? Yeah, so it's an inferential, right? Is it true though? Actually, not in my case. Because before I was 25, I was really good. Like I never go to a party, but now I like to go to party when I'm old because I didn't use my quota. I didn't get to go to party when I was younger. So now I love party, and I can drink a lot. So, so speaking of that, so on the New Year's Eve, I booked a really expensive dinner because New Year's Eve is my daughter's birthday. So I booked an expensive dinner in Budapest, Hungary, in a nice hotel. And they have like singing, they have like a different they have dance, they have magicians that do magic by your table, those kind of stuff, and a nice meal. And she's like, I don't feel good. So she went back to the hotel room. And I was there alone. And the waitress feel bad for me. So she kept giving me cocktails. So yeah, she's like, she said, do you want something to drink? I said, yes, please. And then she made me this, she made me mimosa first. I said, do you have, but their champagne is not sweet. So I don't like something not very sweet, and I don't like something with bubble. So do you have something that's sweet? So she keep making me different stuff. They all look very nice. So I just keep drinking. I think I drink like maybe 8 or 10 different cocktails. Finally, they had is it called draw? They had draw because they whoever participate in the dinner, this is time to pick up my daughter. So they will give out like presidential suite from the hotel, So I went to I went to see like what numbers they draw, like if it's my number. But when I was waiting, I feel like really dizzy. Like I was like, damn, I'm drunk, you know? So, but before, after I was 25, I had a job. I worked in China. I'm originally from Taiwan. So a lot of people I know, they went to China from Taiwan. They don't have families, they don't have friends. So we actually hang out. And one time we went to this club to listen to the live music. And then the waiter came say, oh, our vodka is on sale. Buy 2, get 1 free. 2 bottles, get 1. So we said, okay, let's get 3 bottles. And it's just me and another girl. And then the waiter say, so whose name you want to put this, like you want to tag the alcohol if you don't finish? He first say, whose name you want to put this under? Like, what do you mean? What name? He said, in case you don't finish these 3 bottles of vodka, you know, next time when you come back, you can say, oh, you know, under Daisy's vodka, and then they will put me vodka. And then we were like, we're going to finish the 3 bottles. And we did. We finished the 3 bottles, just 2 of us, we finished the 3 bottles of vodka. And we were okay. I was okay. But then we said, oh, we don't feel like, we feel a little bit dizzy, feel a little bit sick. So we went to get a massage. We get foot massage. And then we just fell asleep, like 1.5 hours. And then they said, hey, it's done. And we both wake up, we're like, son, okay. So I went home and then that's it. Like, you know, I didn't really feel anything because we didn't mix the drink. One time we mixed the drink, I threw up really bad. Like one time I actually, oh, it's also in Budapest with my MBA classmate. I joined the not study abroad. How do you call that? I forgot how they call it, but we did a 2-week trip in Budapest and Czech, what is it? Prague. Okay. So that's the first time I experienced American bar hopping. I didn't know you guys do bar hopping. You know, usually we are very loyal. When we go to a bar, we stay there. But this trip, I went with a group of American students. They do bar hopping, like we would go to 10 different bars. And then, you know, I was so drunk. And then because that day there's one person's birthday. So we keep doing shots, different shots. You know, people buy different rounds of shots. I was so drunk when I finally went back. It's the first time I threw up. Like I was holding the toilet and I threw up there and I fell asleep on the toilet. So that was the only one time I was this drunk, you know. But yeah, so people under the age of 25 are more likely to go to party than people over 25. Not true in my case. The average score in class is 86. Is it descriptive or inferential? Huh?
Descriptive.
Very good. It's descriptive. Basically, just describe this is the average score for the class. If I say, the average score in the class is 86, I think you guys go to a lot of party. Okay, based on the average score, this class go to a lot of party. That's inferential. Okay, so so we make some kind of assumption based on the data. That's inferential. But when you just describe something, that's descriptive. So the role of statistics. So we use this depends on, you know, how we use it. So we need to look at like whether or not we look at the sample or the population. Okay, but based on different sample, we can say there's this much, how many percent of probability our estimate is correct. Okay, so that's what we usually say. I don't know if you guys pay attention, like sometimes when you hear news, they will say plus minus 3%, you know, on something. So that's how they calculate the uncertainty part, like cover the range so that we have 95% of chance, you know, the raining tomorrow it will snow during 7 to 9 p.m. It's 95% of chance or whatever. So they will usually, add a little bit more so to make the probability higher. So ethics and statistics. So bias, sometimes if we do survey in a wealthy community, we might be biased by their opinion, okay? Or a lot of times, especially when I was younger, when I just, I remember when I was a PhD student, we don't have money to buy data. We don't really have money to do survey. We usually use the students. Like I remember when I was a PhD student, I teach this class and I will use this class to do a survey to ask them. So what do you think about, service quality, this service quality, or like your cell phone, how you like your cell phone carrier, what's their service quality, what are the issues they have. So I ask those kind of questions and give student extra credit because it's free. So I give student extra credit for answering my survey. Okay, but the students, you guys are young, you guys don't represent the bigger population, right? And a lot of students don't have a job. So it doesn't really represent the population. So we might have a biased sample if I just use students to do something. But if my study is business education, like being a business student, do you like to do online statistics or in person? Then it will not be a biased sample. It will be a right sample to represent right population. Okay, so I still depend on I have to collect data from different classes so that it will be less biased. Because sometimes it's weird. Like if I teach the same class, different section, one section will love me and one section will just hate me. So you have to collect data from different sections. So make sure you get a good data. And then when we do vote on the website, sometimes if they don't set it up right, sometimes they might vote several times, especially like when they vote which actress is popular, in Asia. I don't know if you guys would do that, but in Asia, they actually hire young people to vote for their idol. Okay, so they will get a lot of vote, but from the same machine or same computer, same person, just to make them known. Okay, so and then your textbook. I didn't require textbook, so you don't have to buy textbook. I forgot to mention that last time. So Coca-Cola, they misuse the statistics. Okay, so they ask, like, I think it's about 0. So they say, why? How come? Like they ask people whether or not they like, different tastes of the Coke. And when they did the study, people were okay with 0, but when they actually sell it, people hate it. People hate the taste of it. Okay, so that's something they misuse the data and then they make the wrong decision. So and then another thing, so like we usually would do blind tests. Okay, so they compete with Pepsi. They use a sweeter drink to replace the classical design, but in the experiment, people drink just a little bit of the Coke. So they in the experiment, in the focus group, they like whatever they design because it's sweeter. But then when you need to have the whole can, it just become too much. So they didn't like the new product. And then that's why Coke started to have, I forgot the name. They have the classic and they have the second one. What is the name of the second one? I forgot. Yeah, so this was long time ago. You guys probably wasn't even born. So last thing is outliers. So based on this data, usually we need to do some kind of, we need to run Excel to identify outliers. But from this data, what is outlier? You probably can tell from this data. 22, yes. So you see here, 22 to 17 is like 5 numbers away. And most number is like 14, 13, 15, right? So it's like ranked from 10 to 17. So the average is like 13.5. Okay, so this one is away from the average. So that's the outlier. So when we try to analyze the data, we would sometimes take out outliers because it will affect the average. Like if this is the let's say the age of a dance team, okay, a dance team age. And if I just use this average, the average would be probably over 15. But in reality, majority of people are younger 15 because we have a bigger number that actually make the average too high. It doesn't really represent the group. So sometimes we'll take this out. Okay. Any questions? Okay, so I didn't have chance to I wanted to print this out, but I forgot. Didn't have chance to do it because I don't know if you guys know our department chair is sick. So he won't be here the whole semester. So we were all in shock. Yeah, so and we were busy with all other stuff. So today I did print out my quiz, but I didn't make copies for you guys. I want to show you where it is. So the content, under content, you guys see it? You can see quiz. So quiz 1. Would you guys do this one? Like, and then submit it to the Dropbox under assessment. Okay. Okay. So quiz 1. So quiz 1 is whatever we cover. And you just need to answer what is the primary or secondary data. Okay. So.
And put the slide that you
Yeah, the slides is here under content. Slides. Here, this is the slides for chapter 1.
Okay.
Okay. And then I will be putting a recording here after after I get out of Zoom. They will give me a link. I will put it on YouTube because for some like I don't know if you guys actually went to D2L before today. So here I had some recording, but it didn't work. It stopped working. So now I put everything on YouTube, so I will know for sure it will be there. Okay, before it's always under D2L. Yeah.
Where's the Zoom link at?
Zoom link. It should be. I think I already put it on syllabus.
Yeah.
So here.
Yeah, I think it's in syllabus.
Oh wait. This is recording. So let me check the syllabus. So I can show you. I can show people from videos where it is. It's here. Oh shoot! I thought I did it. No, I did it, but I didn't shoot. So sorry. I would definitely do. I thought I did it.
You sent it in a warrior.
I did. I sent an email to everybody. Yeah, A3402 02104. No, A34 201 0300. I don't know. 0400.
Do you just take a quiz on the piece of paper and just send a picture?
Yes, scan it and then submit it to the Dropbox. I'm going to create a Dropbox. Wait, let me see how much. So quiz is 20 points. So I'm going to put it here, Dropbox. New folder. So quiz 1. Or if you guys want to stay, you can say I can make a quick copy. Okay, so who wants to stay and then do the quiz here? 1, I make 1 copy. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I make copies.
Right?
No, it's not due. I mean, everything is due by the end of semester.
Oh,
Okay, so I put, but you want to do it quick, like, because you still remember what we talk about. Okay, so, print out quiz 1 and answer, then scan it here, and then scan.
You fill it out just so that we count it out.
Yes, if you can do that. Now, which one answer scan, and then. So you can also answer in a Word document directly, but I recommend you because this one is okay. In the future, it's better to show calculation. Okay, in the future, if you show calculations, even if your final answer is wrong, you'll get partial credit. But if you don't show calculation, you just give me one answer and the answer is wrong, get 0. Okay, so in the future, it's better you write it in the blank area and then just submit it under the Dropbox. So let me go. I already printed it out. I just need to make copies in a. So how many? Okay, I'll make 20 copies. So you guys can have a short break and I'll go make copies and I'll bring it back here, okay? Oh, wait. Forgot you. Let me get out of the Zoom. So that the video won't be too long. Okay.